we'll start with the problem statement. Let us look at it. Okay, so here we have two companies, Leo and Jetstar. So this whole case study is about the merger of these two companies. So these are two uh, streaming platforms, Leo and Jetstar, and they have combined to form Leo Cinema, so which has the combined content library of both Leo and Jetstar. So that's the scenario. Now, moving on, what it says is that as part of the merger preparation, the management team at Leo wants to analyze the performance and user behavior of both platforms, Leo Cinema and Jetstar, over the past 1 year. So from January to November 2024. That means I assume that the data set will contain data from this within this date range from January to November of 2024. So the goal here is to gain insights into the individual platform performance, content consumption patterns, and subscriber growth, inactivity behavior, and so on. So what the aim here is that from the insights derived from this study, the management can make informed decisions about how to optimize the content strategy. The content strategy of this merged entity post the merger, with the ultimate goal of establishing Leo Jetstar as the leading OTT platform in India. So the gist that I have got from here is that there are two streaming platforms, Leo and Jetstar. They have both undergone a merger to form this new entity called Leo Cinema, and now the management team wants to analyze the available data from both these platforms so that they can get certain insights which they can use to formulate strategies that would help them achieve the goal of being a leading streaming or a leading OTT platform in India. So this is the whole gist of the case. And if you're aware, you might know that the names are being changed here, but you might recognize what company they are talking about. And I assume that the data here itself is just would most probably be dummy data. It's not from the actual users, from the actual companies that they are talking about here. And because this merger actually did take place in real life, if you're aware of it, you might know. But anyways, that was just for the sake of information I mentioned, but that is not relevant here. So our knowledge about real life merger of these two companies is not necessary here. Just we'll stick to the confines of this case itself. We won't go above and beyond what's there. Okay. So again, there are certain requirements that are being mentioned here that the management wants. It says that the management expects detailed insights into the following: the content library analysis, subscriber insights, inactivity analysis, upgrade patterns, downgrade patterns, content consumption behavior. Okay, so the management expects insights along these 6 categories. Okay, so okay, I got it, and the rest is just how you have to do your task. So only thing that's relevant is up to here. Within whatever you can see in this screen so far, that's what's relevant as far as the problem statement is concerned. Okay, we have to go through the data and do analysis and gain insights along these 6 areas. Okay, now let's go through the data. We have these data sets here. So we have two databases, JotStarDB and LeoCinemaDB, and they're both in SQL text file. So it would have been better if the datasets were available in CSV files, because then I could use Python and do my analysis there. Because personally I'm more comfortable in Python as compared to MySQL. I mean, I could do it in MySQL, but I'm much more faster and more fluent in Python. And I'll see if I can get to do if I can find a workaround to it. But before going through the dataset, there's also another file called the metadata, which provides information about these datasets that we are given here. So first, let's go through this dataset through the metadata, and then we'll explore the datasets on our own. So as you said, there are two databases, the LeoCinema database and the JotStar database. So for the case of LeoCinema database, let us see. This database contains detailed data on content, subscribers, and content consumption for the LeoCinema platform. Okay, so this database contains three tables. They are named contents, subscribers, and content consumption. So these are three relational databases. These are three tables, and each of these tables has certain amount of columns. So that's the big picture view of what's inside this database. And similarly for JotStar database, again, exact three tables are here as well. Just like the LeoStar database, we have the contents table, the subscriber table, and the content consumption table. Okay, and within each of these tables they have their respective columns. So that's what we can understand by just looking at it from a big picture perspective, from the bird's eye view, if you would say. Now just let us look into the now let us look into each of these tables in more details. What do they have? Okay, so first let's look into the contents table of the LeoCinema database. So it has this data set contains data about the content available on this platform. Okay, and the columns here are content ID. This is the primary key. If you can already infer, because it's the unique identifier. So this is the primary key of this table. Then we have the next column that tells us about the content ID. It's the content type, whether it's a movie or a series. Then we have the next column, that is language, genre, and runtime. Okay, so that's the content table. Again, we have to keep in mind that what our final objective here is. We have to analyze these are the things that we have to these are the areas in which we have to find insights. Okay, so moving on to the subscriber table. Again, user ID, age group, city tier, subscription date, subscription plan, last active date, plan change date, new subscription plan. Okay, I can already see that we can find there are certain common things here. Let me see if I can put them side by side, because this will help us find the connections. Okay, uh, subscribers. So one of the things that we have to look into is subscriber insights, where we have to analyze the trends in subscriber acquisition and demographic variations. Okay, so from here itself, from this table we can find a lot of things, such as the age group of the subscriber. From the demographic perspective, we can look at the city tier to find out what demographics do these subscribers come from. Then we have in terms of upgrade and downgrade patterns, we can look here, the plan change date and the subscription plan. So these are the columns from which I think we can get some kind of information about the upgrade and downgrade patterns, so whether a customer has upgraded its subscription plan or downgraded it. So those kind of questions we might be able to answer from these columns. So this table as a whole, the subscriber table, you can get a lot of information from this table. Right now I'm just going through it in a rough manner. So once we actually get to calculating this the matrix for this for the analysis, I'll go through it in much more details. Right now I'm just exploring the data set. It's just exploring. The final table that we have here is the content consumption table. So this contains the user level content consumption data that enables the analysis of total watch time, device preferences, and engagement trends. Okay, so what we have here is what kind of device does a user use and how many minutes that they watch. So that's the data that we have here. So we have user ID that uniquely identifies a user, the device tag which tells us what kind of device the user is using, and then we have the total watch time that in minutes, that tells us about how many minutes that they have watched. Whether this watch time is the total watch time. By total watch time I mean, is it the daily total watch time or the monthly or the whole watch time that a user has watched throughout its entire history. So that those are the questions that I have to look into in the proper analysis phase. Okay, and now let's go to the JotStar database. I think it's let me see whether the columns are identical or is there anything different here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns: content ID, content type, language, genre, and runtime. Here too we have content ID, content type, language, genre, and runtime. So the columns are exactly the same. So yes, nothing unique here. As far as the subscribers tables is concerned, we have user ID, age group, age tier, subscription date, subscription plan, last active date, plan change date, new subscription plan, and here too we have the same thing: user ID, age group, age tier, subscription plan, subscription date, last active date, plan change date, new subscription plan. So yeah, both the tables are same. And if we moving on to the third one, let's compare it. We have in the what was it, Leo Cinema data base, we have user ID, device type, and total watch time. Here we have user ID, device type, total watch time. So all three tables have the same columns. The names of the columns are same, so it's the same thing. Okay, so that was it about a brief overview of all the of both the databases and all the tables within the database. So next, let's load the data sets, go through the tables, and do some pre-processing if required, and then move on, and let's see what we can do. Data sets using MySQL Workbench. So let's open this and then see what we can do here. Okay, for that we have to go to server, data import, and import from self-contained file. Now we have to search. I kept it here. So these are the data set that we are talking about. So I'll start with JotStar database first, and then we'll look into the other one. So okay, let me just do it again. I may have done something else by accidentally. Okay, everything's fine. What else? Okay. Okay, now the import button is visible. Let's go ahead. Okay, it is shown that the import is complete. So let's look at it. Let's refresh it and see if it's available or not. Okay, yeah, it's here. Right, now I've opened a new SQL file, and let's run some queries to see what's here. So okay, so we'll start by defining that we are going to use this specific schema, JotStarDB. So I'll use the command and run it. Hopefully it worked. Let me look at the tables that are available here. How was it described? Okay, I didn't put the semicolon above, so I was getting some error message here, but hopefully it works now. Let's see. Why isn't anything showing? Was it describe or show tables? Okay, it was show tables, not describe. So here we have these three tables that are within this schema. So like we have seen previously in the metadata file, in that Word file, sorry, that .txt file, we saw that this schema had three tables: the content consumption table, the contents table, and the subscribers table. Okay, so since we are using this schema, the JotStarDB schema, we can see that within this schema there are these three tables. Let's just look at the contents of this table here. So we'll start with the first one. So for that, I will run the following commands. And here we can see we have these three columns, and all the available rows. And as I have said before that I would much rather prefer to work in Python as compared to MySQL. So I would like a way to take this table and somehow make it such that I can use it on Python. So one way we can use it in Python is through CSV files. Then if you can somehow convert this into CSV files, then I can use it within Python. Then I can use a library like pandas and then do all the analysis there. So it's quite easy to uh, take this and convert it into a CSV file. So for that, I'm just going to click on here to export this whole table, and here you can already see that the type is CSV. So I'll is there any difference between these two? I'll just go ahead with whatever was already selected. Okay, and okay, let me see data sets. Let me create a folder if possible. Let me name it as George Star as George Star CSV files. Okay. And let me save it here. I hope it's saved here. Let us check it. Let us check the folder. Okay, here we have this CSV file. We have all the data here. Alright, so it works. So let us do the same for all the remaining tables. So here's the sequence. You just have to run this command where you select all the run the command which shows all the rows and columns for this table, and then export the data. So that's what we're going to do for all the available tables. Actually, let me just remove this one and check what were the tables again. Contents and subscribers. Okay, let's do for contents next. Okay, let's export it again. Okay, we have to rename it as contents because it's not the same. Again, let's verify if it's been done. Yep, all good. So let's move on to the final one, which was subscribers. Subscribers or subscription. You know what, let me just look at the metadata file here. It's subscribers. Okay, let's import this subscribers. And verify just like the others. Okay then, it's all available. Okay, so George Star is done. Now we have to import the tables from Leo Cinema DB. So let me just create a folder here as well. for Leo Cinema. Leo Cinema CSV files. Just for convention. Why did I make this mistake? Just for the sake of consistency, I can change it to upper case. Okay. Okay, now let me import the okay, so now let's import the other schema, the Leo Cinema schema. Start import. Okay, it says the import is complete. Again, let us refresh this and see if it's there. Okay, here we have it, Leo Cinema DB. Okay, let's just use the same SQL file and try to run the following commands. First, let us run the command that through which we will describe that we are going to use the Leo Cinema schema, not the other available schemas that are shown here. Again, we can see that we have successfully loaded this schema, because when we run this show tables command, we can see the three tables within this schema. Again, just like the JotStar schema, let us import all these three tables into CSV files. So I'll again start with content consumption first. Hopefully it's done here. Okay, that's done. Similarly for the other two tables as well. Okay, personal content, contents. Again, go through the same process. And finally, subscribers. Put this one as well. So now let's see. Okay, we have all of it. We have all of the required CSV files. Now we can go through this in Python. So the next step will be to, okay, analyze all of those things in Python. So I'll just open my VS Code and go through the process. Okay, here we have the folder. I have already opened the folder earlier. So okay, so let's create a IPython notebook or a Jupyter notebook. Okay, first let me put pandas. Now we'll import the files from the CSV files for JotStar. So the first is JotStar content consumption. We'll import it as JotStar consumption. Okay. Copy path. I think this much should be enough. Let's see if it runs. Yep, I knew it. Let's run. Okay, yeah. I had to copy the path as in reference to where this notebook is. Okay, so the notebook is already within the datasets folder, and relative to this notebook, what's the address of this CSV file? It's in the JotStar file, so that's why it was creating some issues. So I hope you understand how it got resolved. Now let's similarly import the remaining two CSV files too. I'll just copy and paste this and make the changes. Okay, so we have import all the Georgestar related tables, and you know what, let us just import the Leo Cinema tables as well, and after that we'll explore all the tables in details. I think instead of going from the basics from the beginning, let me just copy and paste this and make the necessary changes. Let me keep this as capital. Okay, make the changes here too. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so we have imported this data too. Now let us just explore this data and see. Let's start with the Georgestar data. Let's look at the shape of this CSV file. So it contains 1000 columns. Oh, sorry, 1000 rows and 3 columns. You know what? Let us just print all of them together and see. And see the shape of all of them. Okay, and see if you want to make apples to apples comparisons, we have to see. I'll just look at the. I'll just compare the Georgestar consumption table with the Leo Cinema consumption table and see if they are the same shape or not. And I'll do similarly for the remaining two tables as well. Okay, so both of them are the same shape, as you can see. So that means the comparison would be easier. Let's do it for the others too. So stock contents and using the contents. Let's see if they have the same shape or not. And also for subscribers. Yeah, they are the same shape. And the respective data, the respective tables for both the streaming companies are the same. So the content consumption table for both Georgestar and Leo Cinema have the same shape. The contents, the Georgestar contents. Okay, yeah, the content library. Yeah, the contents file contains the data about the content library. So yeah, it also contains the same shape, and the subscribers, the files, the subscriber tables also have the same shape. All of them, all all those files have 10 rows of data. Okay, and yeah, the consumption has 3 columns, contents has 5 columns, and subscribers has 8 columns. Okay, okay, that's good. What else? What can I do next? Okay, okay, let's go through the basic pre-processing steps. Let's see if there are any null values or anything like that. So let's start with George consumption. No null values. Okay, let me just, for the sake of clarity, write what we are doing here. We are checking for null values here, so let me make this whole Python notebook much more understandable. So let me be more clear here. Okay, null value again we'll have to do for all the others. Okay, no null values, so it's all good. It makes our lives easier because we don't have to do much here. Okay, coming to the for databases. Sorry, I keep mentioning these tables as databases, so I have to be much more clear that these are tables. Good. No null values. That's good. Leo Cinema contents. You know what? It'll be faster if I just type myself. Yeah, just like all the others. No null values. And we know that these 2 files contains null values because while I was importing it from SQL, I saw that there are some null values. Let's see, but I, just for the sake of formality and also for quantitative analysis, we have to be precise about what exactly how many null values do we exactly have. So let's check. Okay, there are null values in the last active date, the plan change date, and the new subscription plan columns. So we'll have to deal with that. Okay, and just look at the final one as well before we move on. Yeah, similarly for the exact columns, for the same columns, we have null values. Okay, all right, so we'll have to fix the null values before we can move forward. Okay, So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to fix the null values.